Hi there, and welcome to the New Freedom and GCHH Community Partner Orientation. On today's agenda, we will be covering New Freedom and GCHH's history, mission, and our core values, program and department overview, key community partner information, as well as key community partners' policies and procedures, a facility tour, and a wrap-up. Welcome to New Freedom and Gold Canyon Heart and Home, GCHH, and thank you for offering your time and talents to help us better serve our members, our staff, and our community. Community partners, volunteers, interns, vendors also known as community partners, extend care and service to members and supportive services for the staff at New Freedom and GCHH. We offer a unique opportunity for service focusing on those with addictions and people re-entering the community after prison. Community partners are encouraged to become familiar with this Community Partner Handbook, especially the sections covering the New Freedom and GCHH mission, vision statements, confidentiality, and the HIPAA privacy rules and safety procedures. You will receive training covering all the specifics of your assignment and how we deliver great service and maintain standards. Only when both you and your supervisor feel comfortable with your level of expertise will you be expected to perform any activities on your own.
We would now like to give you a little insight and history on who we are here at New Freedom and GCHH. In 2017, Joseph Chipeta was released from prison after nearly an 18-year imprisonment. That year, Joe was introduced to Kyle Harless, an entrepreneur with years in recovery, and the two began the work of securing sustainability for GCHH while investigating various entrepreneurial ventures. In early 2019, GCHH and a team of community stakeholders formed a coalition of entities that had a passion for helping men and women transition from prison back into society successfully. At one of the coalition meetings, Joe McDonald, a long-term leader in the recovery community, was in attendance and had asked the group how he might assist them in their efforts to reduce recidivism and get a more effective recovery message into the Arizona prison system. As a result of that coalition meeting, Joe McDonald joined Joe Chipeta and Kyle Harless at GCHH as they concluded they could do far more together than separately. The three men, assisted by their respective teams together, formed the Transition Coalition, whose purpose was to provide services for helping justice-involved men and women receive treatment for substance abuse, anxiety, depression, PTSD, post-incarceration syndrome, and other behavioral disorders. Various mentorship methods were explored throughout 2019 in hopes of broadening the message of hope and to better deliver effective reentry services. At that time, Denise McDonald had already long been writing letters of encouragement to hundreds of incarcerated individuals. Through Denise's efforts, GCHH's new purpose was to mentor individuals who were still inside and prepare them for a successful reentry with tailored services waiting for them outside, all provided by the same group. In late 2019, the team had met WealthPoint and Waltz Construction and explained the vision of a full continuum of care facility for returning citizens to stabilize, heal, and live as a community. The team shared the heart of GCHH to be a provider of second chances for people, and the New Freedom Project was born. Through their combined business acumen, the New Freedom team successfully acquired, permitted, and licensed what was once a 248-room hotel resort and renovated it into what is now the largest behavioral health facility, all in no less than 9 months. Since its public opening in October of 2020, New Freedom has sprung to life the most innovative approach to reentry ever conceived, servicing 370 to 400 men and women at a time with the ability to serve up to 1,600 annually. Most of the members that come through New Freedom's facility were previously mentored while in prison through the in-reach efforts of Denise McDonald's team. Of all the members New Freedom has treated, whether graduated or not, 95% of them have not reoffended. New Freedom is developing a robust alumni program for continued support after treatment and is now employing some of the first graduates in various roles within the New Freedom facility, which is the vision that was conceived nearly 20 years ago, peers leading peers through lived experience.
Our mission here at New Freedom and GCHH is that we provide critical human services that protect the community and inspire dignity by empowering the innate goodness in every human being. Here at New Freedom and GCHH, we live by a certain set of core values. We utilize these values in our day-to-day interactions with our members to provide a level of care not seen anywhere else. Servant heart is our first and all-encompassing core value lived out in our community interactions and embodying all our core values. A servant heart focuses on serving rather than being served. As a servant heart leader, understanding that empowering your team is key to bringing out the best in each of them. The desire to serve at every level is the driving force behind our success as individuals and as a community. We are courageous in seeing situations from the other person's perspective. We experience fear, but we are not driven by fear. We courageously wield truth balanced with grace to inspire people to become better versions of themselves. We are authentic, accurate, and timely outwardly, and genuine inwardly in both word and deed regardless of circumstance or external pressure. We are compassionate, demonstrating humility, empathy, accurate observation without judgment, and acting in all circumstances in helpful directions. We not only feel the burdens of our fellows, but we help with carrying their burdens as circumstances warrant. Tenacity is our uncompromising pursuit of positive outcomes. The right thing to do is never the easiest path, but it is always the right path. We will always persevere in the face of adversity in the pursuit of righteousness. The introspective person is one who is a watcher of their own thoughts and emotions apart from those thoughts and emotions. This trait is critical in the helping vocation so that leadership and therapy alike are sparked by inspiration rather than through intimidation. The New Freedom community is restorative. The energy felt when walking into a New Freedom facility is rooted in the healing restoration of people. The second chances that inspire peace and hope come from the fundamental guiding principle that returning to the community is righting a wrong. Justice is served by lives well lived after a difficult start. In the next segment is a list of the programs we have here at New Freedom and GCHH. Please take a moment to review. Take a moment to review the New Freedom and GCHH organization chart.
Please take a few moments to review this important information.
Now it is time for us to discuss the role of the community partner. New Freedom and GCHH is staff strives for excellence when treating and caring for members. This means their safety, privacy, and dignity are our top priorities. Remember, members are also your first concern. Every community partner's service directly or indirectly influences member care. In assisting professional staff members, you allow them to devote more time and give better care to members. Strive to support the best member experience. understanding that the sum of all interactions, shaped by an organization's culture, influences member perceptions across the continuum of care. To provide the best member experience, we must be outstanding in the way we treat members and the people around us every day. Every day. Little things do matter.
What do our members want? To be treated with courtesy and respect. To be acknowledged with eye contact and a smile. For you to listen carefully to their questions and concerns. Follow up. Do what you say you will do. A quiet, clean, safe, and healing environment. Listen actively. Listen more than you speak. Agree when you can and avoid arguing when you cannot agree. Be aware of body language and verbal and nonverbal communications. Speak positively. If you don't know the answer to a question, respond with "I'll find out." Concerns should be communicated to the community engagement liaison or appropriate supervisor. Be aware of the level of your voice. Look directly at the person and speak directly, distinctly, and quietly. Be fully present. Put your problems on hold and concentrate on the moment. OARS approach. O. Ask open questions. Allow members to reflect and elaborate on responses. Let them do most of the talking. A. Use affirmations. Recognize and reinforce success. Express positively about strengths and accomplishments. Show empathy. R. Use reflective listening. Mirror what the member is saying. Rephrase what the member says in your own words. S. Use summarizing, paraphrase, and pull key points from the conversation. Be a team player. Be as cooperative as possible with staff members and fellow community partners, volunteers, interns, vendors, for the benefit of the member and their family. Customer service. A community partner's greeting, helpfulness, smile, and going the extra mile leaves a lasting, positive impression on our members and staff today, tomorrow, and into the future. We are all a part of New Freedom and GCHH's therapeutic community. Personalize your service. Address members by their first name. Endearment terms are not appropriate, e.g., honey, sweetie, dear. Counseling is for therapists. Avoid offering counsel or advice. Be sure to direct members or staff to the appropriate supervisor or clinical team member when needed. Safety. In member areas, always check member requests with clinical staff before responding. Only accept roles that you have been trained for and are comfortable doing.
Set and keep good boundaries with the members we serve right from the beginning. Remember key considerations due to members' justice involvement and incarceration experience. Remember, our role is to model healthy boundaries and accountability to best support their successful re-entry journey. When you are unsure whether something may cross healthy member boundaries, ask first. Some examples of healthy boundaries. Do not discuss your own personal, work problems or issues with members. Stay within the scope of your non-clinical services offered, no additional favors or services. Refrain from developing or maintaining personal relationships with members, including do not share your personal contact information. Provide supportive services during business hours only and within New Freedom's expectations. Keep your personal beliefs and opinions private to not allow those to affect member services. Refer to New Freedom's Member Boundaries Policy in your handbook. Ask HR or Community Engagement Liaison whenever you have questions.
New Freedom and GCHH's policies and procedures. Now let's discuss the New Freedom and GCHH's Community Partners Code of Conduct. Partnering, volunteering, interning is a public trust that requires integrity, compassion, belief in the dignity and worth of human beings, respect for individual differences, and a commitment to service. Compliance with Code of Conduct. Standards of conduct is a condition of involvement and violation of the following standards will be regarded as unethical behavior and grounds for immediate termination of roles and responsibilities. As a New Freedom and GCHH's community partner, I regard as my primary obligation the welfare of the New Freedom and GCHH members and staff. I will not discriminate with regard to race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, marital status, sexual orientation, genetic information, uniform service member or veteran status, or any other characteristic protected by applicable federal, state, or local law. I respect the privacy of the people whom I serve. I contribute my knowledge, skills, and support to my volunteer position. The company will not tolerate any individuals achieving results by violating laws or engaging in dishonest or unscrupulous business practices. Illegal or unethical conduct of any type is strictly prohibited. Any and all concerns of violations should be immediately reported to Human Resources, HR, or the Community Engagement Liaison immediately. Our reputation is one of our most valuable assets, and we must continually earn the trust, confidence, and respect of our members, our stakeholders, and our communities. Every action you take reflects not just on you, but on all of us. Responsibilities to the member. We're committed to providing quality care as we treat everyone we serve with compassion, and we honor the privilege of serving them. Keeping our members safe is a top priority. We strive to maintain standards of excellence that ensure the safety and care of our members. To your teammates, you are an important member of the team in the department in which you serve. It is your obligation to cooperate with your teammates and contribute to the team effort. We honor our employees and volunteers by providing an engaging, productive, safe, and a drug and alcohol-free work environment. To the Community Partner Services Program, you serve within specific guidelines that have been established by staff and community partners working together. New Freedom and GCHH are committed to honoring the promises we make to those we serve. Commitment. One of the primary reasons we come here each week is to give back to the community and make a positive difference in people's lives. Attitude and consistency are the most important elements of our interactions with members, guests, visitors, and others within the New Freedom and GCHH community. Be open to change. You will find your service very rewarding if you are open to new ideas. And remember, the members' needs come first, and we must be flexible to the changing priorities surrounding us. Manage change through flexibility, a sense of humor, and the knowledge that you're here to serve others in a manner of excellence. Standards of conduct. The company intends to provide a safe, healthy, respectful environment for staff, community partners, and members. All community partners are expected to follow the company's policies, procedures, and rules. Below are some examples of rules and/or conduct that may result in disciplinary action, up to and including dismissal. Dishonest, unethical behavior. Theft, forgery, and/or falsification of records, whether member documentation, timekeeping records, or other types of records. Working under the influence of illegal drugs, alcohol, and/or prescription drugs. Threatening, aggressive, and/or harassing behavior. Use of vulgar or inappropriate language. Insubordination. Unsatisfactory performance or conduct. Engaging in relationships and/or poor boundaries with members. Harassment-free workplace. The company strives to provide community partners with a safe environment, free from any form of unlawful harassment, discrimination, and/or retaliation. The company prohibits all forms of harassment of any individual for any reason, including but not limited to harassment or discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, marital status, sexual orientation, genetic information, uniform service member or veteran status, or any other characteristic protected by applicable federal, state, or local law. All harassment, discrimination, and/or retaliation should be immediately reported to Human Resources. If or when it's reported to the community partner's supervisor, and/or if the community partner's supervisor otherwise knows of the complaint or concern, the contractor volunteer supervisor is required to report to Human Resources. Human Resources will investigate the complaint or concerns, maintaining confidentiality to the highest extent possible. Respectful workplace. All employees and community partners have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. It is the commitment of the company and our leaders to ensure that our environment is free from negative, aggressive, unprofessional, and inappropriate behaviors, and that the environment is aimed at providing high-quality services that consistently embrace and model the company's core values. All complaints of harassment or bullying behaviors will be taken seriously and followed through to resolution. Individuals who file complaints will not be retaliated against for whistleblowing and/or reporting others for their inappropriate behavior. All reports must be truthful. Individuals who file frivolous or false complaints will be addressed through appropriate disciplinary action, up to and including dismissal. Protection from harassment and bullying behaviors extends to management, supervisors, fellow employees, subordinates, members, vendors, and any and all other stakeholders. Furthermore, protection from harassment and bullying behaviors extends beyond the place of work to off-site and work-related events. Workplace bullying is defined as systematic aggressive communication, manipulation of work, and acts aimed at humiliating or degrading others that creates an unhealthy and unprofessional power imbalance, resulting in psychological consequences for targets and witnesses of the behavior, and have a negative impact on the company's success. Some examples of workplace bullying may include, but are not limited to, gossiping or spreading rumors about individuals, both at work and outside of work, inappropriate gestures, visual staring, behaviors that are intimidating or threatening, coercing others, or abusive, offensive, and demeaning behaviors, repeated instances of excessive yelling, emotional outbursts, berating others, or using a harsh tone of voice, aggressively criticizing or pointing out mistakes in front of others, using a condescending tone, communicating in a way that does not foster constructive feedback, failing to use a healthy and respectful method of disagreeing to reach a decision, intentional social exclusion or ostracism, ignoring others, and slash or silent treatment, arbitrary or punitive punishment without cause, inconsistent and slash or unfair discipline, blaming others for things outside of their control. Everyone has a responsibility and must do their part to ensure a respectful, healthy, productive work environment. Individuals who have concerns should immediately report them to Human Resources so they can be investigated and resolved. In the event the complaint is about a member of Human Resources, formal complaints should be filed with a member of Executive Management. Any individual seeking to file a complaint should take special care to ensure the complaint is confined to and consists of precise details of each incident of negative, aggressive, and/or inappropriate behaviors and any and all witnesses. The company will maintain confidentiality to the greatest extent possible to support the investigative process. Likewise, the complainant will agree not to discuss the matter with anyone other than Human Resources after reporting, in an effort to prevent gossip that can interfere with the investigation, influence the accuracy of the investigation, and cause negative impact to the persons accused of misconduct prior to it being confirmed. Investigations will be completed thoroughly, objectively, with sensitivity, and in a timely manner. Resolution will include any number and combination of possibilities, depending on the outcome of the complaint process. Human Resources may notify the complainant, as well as the individual or individuals complained against, of the plan of action, as appropriate.
In this segment, we will now cover nepotism with employees. The employment of relatives and/or of those in a personal relationship may in certain circumstances result in creating a conflict of interest. Failure to immediately and openly disclose a relative and/or personal relationship to Human Resources and/or an individual's supervisor will result in disciplinary action, up to and including dismissal. The company may require one or both employees or community partners who are relatives or who are in a personal relationship to transfer to a different position or department to avoid an actual conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest. The company reserves discretion to refuse to transfer employees or community partners into a position that will result in the employee either supervising or being supervised by an employee or community partner who is a relative and/or in a personal relationship. Appropriate, professional boundaries must be demonstrated at all times. Employees or community partners are encouraged to review the full policy and/or seek clarification from their supervisor or human resources.
Member boundaries. Personal relationships between employees or community partners and members while members are in service or within 1 year of being discharged from services is strictly prohibited. Other examples of actual or potential ethical violations related to nepotism and personal relationships with members/clients include but are not limited to living in the same household or roommate relationships that extend beyond a sober living home, halfway house, or other such environment. In instances when prior members/clients and employees or community partners reside in the same sober living home, halfway house, or other such residence, the employee or employees and/or community partner or partners involved must disclose this to Human Resources immediately upon the household or roommate relationship being confirmed. Agreements to meet or congregate during the course of services or post-discharge for personal and/or romantic reasons that extend beyond mentoring and support specific to successful recovery and return to the community. Social media relationships with members/clients during the course of services that are not related to support in programming and/or the successful recovery and return to the community. Behavior or relationship building that exploits members/clients, for example in business, financial, or sexual relationships. Failing to respect the privacy and confidentiality of the member/client. Behavior or nepotism or personal relationships that is harmful to any current or prior member/client, including physically or psychologically, verbal assault, ridicule, rude or provocative language, insulting or demeaning behavior, and/or stigma or discrimination. If in doubt concerning any of the situations or guidelines listed above or any other aspects of this policy, the employee, contractor, or volunteer should contact Human Resources for clarification and guidance. Employees or community partners are encouraged to review the full policy and/or consult Human Resources as needed.
Known to me notices. There are times when relatives and/or individuals that we know through prior family, personal, or professional relationships may enter into services with the company as a member/client. Employees or community partners are expected to immediately disclose to their supervisor and Human Resources when they are familiar with a member/client participating in the company's services or when they believe a person known to them could become a member/client of the company. Employees or community partners should email their supervisor and at the email provided in this video to report a known to me notice disclosing the following: member/client name and a summary of how the employee, contractor, or volunteer knows the member/client. Supervisors will ensure other members of the team are assigned to work with the respective member or members. Human Resources will work with clinical to have the member's electronic health record access restricted. Employees or community partners should never access the electronic health records of members that they have knowledge of. Failure to disclose knowledge of a member will result in disciplinary action, up to and including dismissal. Now is time to discuss safety here at New Freedom and GCHH. Ensuring the safety of all employees, community partners, and our members is a team effort, and the company cannot take proper action in some instances without communication from employees and community partners. Any accident or injury that takes place on company time or property must be reported to your supervisor and Human Resources as soon as reasonably possible. Your supervisor is responsible for filling out appropriate accident-related forms and documentation. Any and all safety concerns should be reported to the Community Engagement Liaison. Individuals are expected to pick up after themselves and maintain a clean environment. Individuals are expected to pick up items which may cause a tripping or fall hazard and to ensure overall safe working conditions. First aid kits, fire extinguishers, and other safety equipment are located throughout the facility and are accessible within easy reach. You should be familiarized with the location of these supplies and how to properly use them. Anytime that supplies are consumed or removed from the designated area, you must notify your supervisor. Familiarize yourself with any and all applicable policies, procedures, and expectations. Now it is time to cover workplace violence. Employees and community partners may not possess firearms in the workplace. Any firearms brought on company property must be secured in a locked compartment in the individual's vehicle out of plain sight in accordance with Arizona law. Other forms of weapons such as knives, mace, explosives, or other objects that may reasonably be construed as weapons are not allowed in the workplace. Individuals are required to report incidents perceived as violence in the workplace to a supervisor and/or human resources immediately. Workplace violence includes, but is not limited to, making threatening remarks, written or verbal, fighting, assault, intentionally damaging property.
New Freedom and GCHH are a drug and alcohol-free workplace. The company is committed to providing a safe, healthy, and productive workplace for all employees, community partners, and members that is free from drugs and alcohol. All employees or community partners are prohibited from being under the influence of prescribed drugs considered unlawful under the Controlled Substances Act, non-prescribed drugs, and alcohol during working hours, working while impaired by any substance, including but not limited to marijuana, drugs, prescribed medication, alcohol, or over-the-counter medication, possessing, selling, transferring, manufacturing, dispensing, distributing drugs, alcohol, and/or paraphernalia at work, during working hours, and/or while performing company business. Having prescription medication by anyone other than whom it is prescribed for, on company property, during working hours, and/or while performing company business. Violation of these standards, including a violation discovered or confirmed by a positive drug or alcohol test, may result in disciplinary action, up to and including termination of employment and/or dismissal. Employees or community partners struggling with drug and/or alcohol challenges are encouraged to seek human resource assistance prior to violating the policy and standards. New Freedom and GCHH conducts drug and alcohol testing. Pre-employment or pre-community partner placement. Random. Reasonable suspicion. Workplace injury and/or accident. Employees or community partners who refuse to submit to a test or who adulterate, dilute, or otherwise tamper with a test specimen will be subject to immediate disciplinary action, up to and including termination of employment. Any and all testing will be performed by an outside third-party testing facility. Coronavirus policy. Individuals are required to screen for symptoms each day, and good hygiene practices should be followed. Required temperature screening each day at front desk upon arriving to the facility. Individuals should not report to the facility if or when experiencing symptoms and should immediately notify their supervisor and the email listed in this video. Employees, contractors, or volunteers may be asked to get tested. Employees or community partners should not come to the facility when they test positive for the coronavirus and should immediately contact their supervisor via email provided. HR will then explore necessary contact tracing with the individual. Discuss quarantine periods and testing expectations with the individual, ensuring the supervisor is in the loop. Discuss PPE requirements, such as use of mask upon return. Individuals who have a confirmed exposure should not come to the facility and must also immediately notify their supervisor and human resources.
HIPAA and confidentiality. The company takes HIPAA privacy practices very seriously, and it's everybody's job, not just the company's. HIPAA confidentiality applies to all medical records and other individually identifiable health information used or disclosed by New Freedom and GCHH in any form, whether electronically, on paper, or orally, are covered by the HIPAA privacy standards. This includes clinical information about the member, as well as administrative data such as billing, insurance, and demographic information. Protect the use or disclosure of member information. The minimum amount of protected health information (PHI) necessary to accomplish the intended purpose is disclosed on a need-to-know basis. Communicating confidential member information inappropriately, carelessly, or negligently, for example, casual discussion regarding a member, discussion in public area, and/or unauthorized release of information while on or off campus, is a breach of confidentiality, which can result in hefty fines and penalties. Responsibilities. Sign community partner confidentiality statement. Do not access, use, and/or disclose information about members unless the information is required for you to carry out your assigned community partner duties. When you see or hear information in the course of doing your assigned activities, even if this is a friend or neighbor, remember that the information is confidential and is not to be repeated or shared with others. Be mindful of your surroundings when discussing member information. Avoid discussing members in public places, for example, cafeteria, hallway, elevator, a cubicle near a public area, etc. Keep confidential papers, lists, reports, computer data, etc. in a secure place. Never leave information on a desk unattended. HIPAA and photography. A HIPAA violation could result from something as simple as taking a picture for a member. If you are asked to take a photograph by a member, you must make certain that no other members, visitors, or employees are in the picture. An employee may give their consent, and then it would be allowed. Additionally, you must use the member's own camera. These precautions must be taken to maintain everyone's privacy.
Dress code and hygiene. All community partners are expected to present a neat, well-groomed, appropriate, and professional appearance at all times. Use good judgment in determining appropriate attire. Some examples of inappropriate work attire are shorts and/or cutoffs, athletic and/or beach wear, such as yoga pants, sweatpants, basketball shorts, spandex, tank tops, swimming suits, etc. Clothing that references profanity, drugs and/or alcohol, weapons, offensive statements, or graphics. Jeans or pants that are ripped, torn, dirty, and/or stained. Clothing that is revealing, too loose, too tight. Flip-flops and/or shoes that are not safe or appropriate for the work environment. In some cases, it may be appropriate for certain individuals to wear athletic attire, such as those working with Alpha Source. Individuals may be sent home and can return once the dress code concern is corrected.
Other policies and procedures. Smoking. Smoking is permitted in designated areas only. Tobacco smoking, chewing tobacco, and vaporizer tobacco smoking is prohibited in any other areas. Smoking activities are to be done during approved break and lunch periods. Gratuities. Community partners may not accept gratuities. If someone would like to give you a gratuity, please decline and suggest a donation to GCHH. GCHH is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so they are eligible for a tax-deductible receipt. Valuables. Community partners do not handle valuables of members, visitors, or vendors. New Freedom and GCHH are not responsible for personal items that community partners bring in during their service, such as cell phones, laptops, etc. Employees as volunteers. An employee of New Freedom and GCHH may not serve as a community partner in the same department in which he or she is employed or has a service assignment that is similar to their compensated role. Advance approval required prior to doing so. Arrival for duty. Please arrive on time for your shift. If you anticipate arriving late, please call and notify the community engagement liaison or your supervisor. Sign in and sign out. Each community partner is required to check in at the beginning of the assigned shift of duty and check out when the shift is completed. This is documentation of your attendance in our facilities as well as a way to track community partners in the event of an emergency. Absences. Please notify your supervisor or designated staff when you are unable to fulfill your shift as soon as possible. Personal guests and visitors. Your service is critical to serving our clients, members, and families and staff. Please do not bring guests, friends, or family members, including children, when you are scheduled to partner, volunteer, or intern. They will not be allowed to accompany you during your shift. Solicitation and identification. A community partner may not solicit or distribute literature for any purpose within the facility or at any New Freedom and GCHH activity, or use the New Freedom and GCHH names without prior approval. Examples may include, but are not limited to, promoting outside business interests, distributing literature promoting business, organization, or personal interests, promoting or distributing religious or political material. Community partners may not use the New Freedom and GCHH's name to lend weight or prestige to an outside activity or event without prior approval from authorized management. Posting proprietary, member, or confidential information on social media sites or associating New Freedom and GCHH in social media posts to solicit or endorse a personal business venture, political candidate, or religious cause without prior approval.
Congratulations! You have completed the New Freedom and GCHH Community Partner Orientation. Please take the time to fill out the form on this web page and certify that you have completed this orientation. Please feel free to ask any questions in the message area before submitting your form. Thank you for being of service to our staff and members, and we look forward to working with you here at New Freedom and GCHH.